Don't move. Turn your fantasy football into reality. Here's CJ.
Thank you for the great introduction, as always, Marty, the man with the voice. This is the Dirty Landry Experience. I'm CJ. Now, I've been getting some pushback on this quarterback in your draft thing, and I seem to be going on and on about it, but I'm going to explain it in a little more detail as to why and what the strategy behind that is, as opposed to the prevailing opinion. Okay, now, if you choose to continue doing it your way and you're successful at it, I don't want you to change a thing. But if you're looking to change things because you're not doing that well, maybe something that we say here will strike a chord and help you improve the parts of your draft that you're hoping that you can get better at. That's all this is. So a solid question that came from one of the guys in the group was, are you a leader or a follower? If you're the one that's always drafting because of ADP and you worry about ADP, then you're a follower. If you're one that's worried about the prevailing opinion, again, you're a follower. If you make your own notes and you don't care about ADP, you just want your guys, and you don't care where you draft them, then you're a leader. Because if you're a leader, everyone else will follow you. And that's part of the strategy here. So the prevailing opinion is don't draft quarterbacks early. Funny though, all the gurus will tell you that. And then, strangely enough, they wind up being the first ones to take quarterbacks in all your leagues. They've got you convinced not to take one until rounds 3, 4, and 5. And they always wind up being the first guy that gets on the board. Funny how that works, right? Convincing us to draft wide receivers and running backs because, the strategy is they're elite. And there's a bigger difference between the running backs and wide receivers that you'll get in those first rounds than there is in the quarterbacks that you'll get in the later rounds, between the top and middle players and such. Well, and that can be true. Whereas with quarterbacks, the difference between quarterback 1, quarterback 10, 15 isn't really all that significant. No, it's not. It's a few points. And sometimes you lose by, a few points. So, but here's the ugly truth. There are only 32 quarterbacks in the National Football League that start on any given Sunday. And because of bye weeks and such, there's about 24. And half of them play for bad teams and have bad weeks and struggle. So if you don't have an elite quarterback, you're probably not going to win. Simple as that. Now, this is generally what happens. The good fantasy players convince the new ones that taking the quarterbacks early is a bad strategy. We all buy into it and start drafting players like the Hills and Diggs and Robinson Brown and Henry and such, and go on the Waddles, and till wham, out of left field, somebody takes Mahomes. Uh-oh. And now it's panic time, because the entire league is probably filled with followers. And what's going to happen is then the next one. There goes Burrow, there goes Allen, there goes Rodgers. All these guys are gone. Now you're the follower and you're 10 picks away. How do you fix that? Because if that's what's happening to you, then you're following. And if you're following, you're not winning most times. See? Taking a player early. Trust me on this. This is good strategy. In your round 3 as an example, let's say that a tight end hasn't come off the board yet, which could be easily the case. So you decide, you know what? I'm going to take Travis Kelce. Now all of a sudden, you've got the very best tight end, the top guy in fantasy football is now yours. And everyone's going to look, and then they know what the next one, I bet you dimes to donuts, the very next pick in the draft is going to be a tight end, one of those elite, those fabulous fives. The first 5 tight ends are going to be gone. And by the time it gets around to you again, they're all going to be gone. So imagine if you were late in the first round and you took a quarterback. And everyone went, whoa. And then you got to the third round, you took a tight end. You would have the best quarterback, the best tight end, In the second round, a great wide receiver or running back, because once you take one quarterback, everyone will follow and the others will go. Once you take one tight end, people will follow and they'll all go. So if you're constantly taking the first guy, you'll have, by the end of the draft, a lot of times I'll have the best quarterback, the best tight end. In those middle rounds, I'll always grab a defense because, defense gets points. And if I get the best defense in the league, let's say Buffalo, then I'm halfway through the draft. I have the best quarterback. I have the best tight end. I have the best defense. I've got a great wide receiver. I've got some solid running backs from drafting rounds 4, 5, 6 type of thing. Now I can go roster bait on Twitter. But I have to be happy or satisfied with not having Waddle or Hill or someone like that. But I've got Mahomes and you don't. And if I'm always the one that's the first one to take that position, then I'm always leading, I'm never following, and I'm always going to have a solid team. And that's why I do it. The only position, I was going to call them people. Kickers are not people. Okay. I don't draft kicker unless the league mandates it. I'll take a kicker later on. I'll grab one the day before the season starts off waivers. But all I'm looking for in a kicker, and I'll stream them all year long, I don't care. I'm just looking for a guy who plays indoors at home. I'm looking for a guy who's playing in Miami or somewhere with really nice weather, with a nice long leg on artificial turf. That's all I'm looking for. It's guys who aren't playing in snow. And so I'll just rotate my kickers and find the guy who's got the nice wind conditions. So kickers, I don't draft them unless your league mandates it. Then at the end of the draft, I'll have to take one. So, but that's why the strategy is there. That's why I do it that way. It may be completely foreign to how you do it, and you may be very critical of that, and that's fine. But it works for me. So whatever works for you, I'm happy. But if it's not working for you, maybe try some of this. I'm CJ. That is the Dirty Landry Experience. Enjoy your draft and enjoy the rest of the preseason. We'll see you next time.